James was just an ordinary fish until somebody dumped toxic sludge into his lake, and it made him really smart, so he built his own mech suit, and now he's Robo-Fish! Howdy folks, and welcome back to MOC-UP. On today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about joints, specifically working with mechs, but mostly about joints. So, as I stated earlier, this is Robo-Fish. I kind of created him, oh gosh, what was that? Year and a half, 2 years ago? Kind of as a joke. I found some old joint pieces and started sticking them together to make something funny. I think the first thing I found actually was the fish. And I created kind of sort of a chassis for him, and then I decided I just needed to build up from there, and I created Robo-Fish. He's got quite a few different types of joints on him that you can use in mechs. He's got, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, he's got 5 of the joints on here. No, he's got 6 of the joints on here, sorry. Which is actually the majority of the joints that LEGO makes. So anyway, let's just start going over it. Today I'm also going to be going over 1 or 2 of the small things that I did that you guys might be interested in building on your own. So I'll show you how to build some of them, like say this freaking awesome minigun right here, which is, there we go, that's better. So yeah, show you how to make that. Anyway, so the first joint that we're going to talk about is actually right over here. If I take this off, I can actually show you guys a little better what it is. Come on, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, this is just a clip hinge. Whoop, this is just a clip hinge. There's not really a whole lot to it. It's literally just 2 clips. But I find those work really well for feet, just because feet need to only move in one direction, usually. And it's actually the ankle that will do, the ankle that can do most of the angling of the foot from side to side. And we'll go over what I've used for the ankle joint here now. Let's get that back together. The joints I used for the knee/ankle are the same that I used for the hips and for this arm. So I'm actually going to take apart this arm over here to show you what that is. So if you'll give me 1 second. So this is the joint that I used for the arm. It's kind of sort of a variation on the old click joint. And we'll get over the basic click joint here in just a minute. But it doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of movement. You have side to side, and you can twist this. Now you have 2 versions of this. You've got a version that is in the legs here. See if I can focus that up for you. That can move for it up and down, forward or backward, however you want to talk about it, however you want to say it. And this version that can move side to side. And both have one side that has a pin with these extra friction parts that will stick into here. Let me see if I can get that focused up on. And essentially it fits in there, and around those little ridges it clicks. So yeah, let me stick that back in. And you can hear it there. And that's the second type of hinge that I used. And this was the entire part of his left arm. Now his left arm did have something that actually my cousin taught me to build. And I want to show you how to do that now, since we're on the left arm anyway. Now, that's this minigun. It's really cool because you can build a tripod for it. And I think I've got one around here somewhere. Give me just a sec to find that. So here's the unmodified version. You can see, I'll set this up back here so you guys can kind of see what you can do with it. Like that. It's a pretty simple design, actually. And we'll go over that right here. Yeah, let's go over that. So the first part of this that you're going to want to make is the gun itself. And it's not that hard. The main components you're going to need are a couple of these pieces, these 1x2 plates with the bar attached. And it needs to be this version. It can't be the version where they're connected on the ends and it's one straight bar in the center. It needs to be these two. Then you're going to need one of these smallish wheels, not the smallest one they have. I think it's the second smallest that they've got. And one of these axles in particular. So what you're going to do is obviously attach the wheel to the axle. Oh my, there you go. Second, you're going to take this piece and attach it to the back. And you're going to take this piece and attach it to the front. So now we're almost there. And actually, I think, double check that. Yeah, no, that's done right. Okay. So, next thing you do is you take one of these mechanical hand piece things, and that gets attached to the back. This is your that's your trigger, essentially, for the minigun. And you can put one, if you've got a second one, you can put one there to kind of be like a sensor thingy. But I usually just stick them back here, although Robo-Fish does have one there. The next thing you need to do is you get three, just, let me focus up here. These are just three regular old bars, and you get just a little bit of electrical tape, and you tape them together so that they are in, struggling with the lights here, so that they're just in a triangle. There you go, now you can see it. So they're just in this little triangle here, and you just use a little bit of black duct tape or black electrical tape to do that. Now this is where you actually kind of make the actual gun part. So it's a little tight, but you can fit the three of them in that triangle into the wheel there, and you get that. It'll turn like a real minigun does, and it looks pretty freaking awesome. Now, I didn't add it on to Robo-Fish because he doesn't need it, but if you're going to have like soldiers or, you know, battle droids, clones, whoever, if you're actually going to have minifigures manning it, one thing you might want to do are make these chicken plates, or what they're called. They're just little shields. And you just need one upward facing clip. Well, you'll need two so you can make both sides. But it's upward facing clips and 2x3 plate. What you do is you just stick that on there like that. Like that. And you stick them on the sides. And then you angle the plate just a little bit so it looks a little bit like that. Go. And I'll go ahead and throw the other one on here. Get it on there, come on. And then you have this really freaking awesome minigun. One thing I forgot to mention is if you take one of these and place it up here, and you take another one and stick it right there, you can actually have a minifigure kind of hold it. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Here we go. And suddenly your minifigure is extremely overly powered and armed, and nothing in his path is going to stand. So that's how you make the minigun that was on Robo-Fish. Now before we move on, I should say one thing about this minigun. You will start to destroy the wheels. For instance, this is the one that's been on Robo-Fish. I don't know if you can see it, but it's no longer 100% circular. It started to deform, and that's just going to happen with this thing. So if you're going to go ahead and make the minigun, just know you can damage it. The wheels, I mean. And I forgot to show you the tripod, because today I'm not fully here apparently. So if this is your minigun, this is your tripod. It's literally just one snot piece with the 4 snot sides. So I guess it's more of a quad pod than a tripod. And then you literally take it and put it on the further down part. And you want to angle it kind of so that they go diagonal to the main barrels. And there you go. One mounted minigun, which is freaking awesome. So anyway, back to Robo-Fish. Let me just fix his arm and we'll continue. Okay, so Robo-Fish has 3 more joints that I want to show you. Before we get to the other arm, we're going to start with the most classic joint here on the back, and that is the humble click joint. Now, a click joint is one of these here. Let me focus in on that. Get a little light on the subject. There you go. It's one of these old-fashioned... It's one of these old joints that have the click pieces on them, so they will literally click into place. They don't really like going in between each click, but they're fairly sturdy, fairly strong. I rather like these joints. They're pretty good. So that's that type of joint. I'm using it here for his little wing section. Well, that didn't work right. Whoop. Thankfully that goes right back on there. And with that, we can now, let's get this back on, move. Well, he's just falling apart today, isn't he? There we go. Now we can move on to the other joints. So his hand has one of the other joints I want to show you. And if I remove his cannon here, I can show you a little better with his claws. This joint is just a rotating joint. And it's pretty simple. All it is a Technic pin into a axle. Well, it's one of the Technic pins with axle into an axle brick and a plate with a Technic pin hole in it. And that's all for that one. It's a pretty simple joint. You can use any Technic pins and any brick converters to make it. It's not that hard. Alright, so the last type of joint is a ball joint. And that's just this right here. Literally, there are 2 types of ball joints. One is on his head, which is way up there off screen. and one is his shoulder and elbow for the right arm. It's pretty simple. I'll show you the pieces I used. Give me 1 sec to pull these off. And I can sort of do it. There we go. Here we are. So it's really simple. So we got a 2x2 with ball joint, and the receptacle for it, the receiving end. Not exactly sure what the technical title is for that one. I think they started originally in Bionicle, but so that's what that used. So there's one other subset of the ball joint, and that's what a lot of people call the mixel joint. It's this little itty bitty one in here. The really narrow ball joints. The very small ones. And that's just kind of what I used for his head. Can show that off there. There we go. It's kind of what I used for his head. It's a 1x4 with the ball on it. It just feeds into a 1x2 with the receiver on it. And that's just kind of what holds his head on. So, other than the ball joint right here for his waist section, that's all of the joints that Robo-Fish has. That's most of the joints people use for mechs. Some people kind of make a gear system to swing their arms, but this guy's a little small for that. But there's one more joint type that I want to cover in this video, and then I believe that I've covered every joint that Lego has made, would be this here. And this is a simple hinge joint. There's also the like 2x2s that can fold out a little bit. But then there's this version here. And that is all of the joint types that Lego has. Alright guys, so that's all I gotta say. That's Robo-Fish. Robo-Fish hopes you have a nice day. I hope you have a nice day. I also hope you found something useful in this video. Something that you can use in your own MOCs. If you liked this video, please go ahead and give it a like. That way everybody knows this is a good Lego video and they'll come and see it. Give a comment if you have any questions and I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to know whenever I post a new video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I believe there's still the notification bell that you hit to get notified whenever I post something new. I'll see you next time, but in the meantime, keep building.